May 8, 1615. Osaka Castle, the largest and most magnificent fortress in Japan, is surrounded. 200,000 Tokugawa troops have encircled the castle. Inside, 50,000 samurai warriors loyal to the Toyotomi clan prepare for their final battle. They know they cannot win. The numbers are impossible. The siege has dragged on for months. Supplies are running out. Reinforcements are not coming. Tokugawa Ieyasu has offered terms. Surrender. Live. Serve the new shogunate. But samurai do not surrender. Not to overwhelming odds. Not to certain death. Not when their lord still lives. 50,000 warriors chose death over dishonor. And by the time the sun set on Osaka Castle, every single one of them was dead. This is the story of the last stand that ended Japan's age of war. To understand why 50,000 samurai chose death, you need to understand what Osaka Castle represented. In 1583, Toyotomi Hideyori, one of the three great unifiers of Japan, built Osaka Castle as his seat of power. It was a statement of dominance. 5 stories tall, surrounded by massive stone walls, protected by multiple moats, defended by layers of fortifications. Hideyoshi had unified Japan after 150 years of civil war. He conquered rival warlords, pacified the country, and dreamed of conquering Korea and China. He was the most powerful man in Japan. But in 1598, Hideyoshi died. He left behind a 5-year-old son, Toyotomi Hideyori, as his heir. To protect the boy, Hideyoshi appointed 5 regents to rule until Hideyori came of age. The most powerful was Tokugawa Ieyasu, a calculating politician and brilliant strategist who had been Hideyoshi's most trusted general. Ieyasu had no intention of serving a child. He saw an opportunity to seize power for himself. Within 2 years, Japan split into factions. Eastern forces supported Tokugawa. Western forces remained loyal to the Toyotomi clan and Hideyori. In 1600, at the Battle of Sekigahara, Tokugawa crushed the Western forces. He became the de facto ruler of Japan. In 1603, the emperor appointed him shogun, military dictator. But there was a problem. Toyotomi Hideyori still lived. He was older now, in his 20s, and he still commanded the loyalty of thousands of samurai. As long as he survived, he represented a threat to Tokugawa rule. Osaka Castle became a refuge for samurai who refused to accept Tokugawa's authority. Ronin, masterless samurai, flocked to Hideyori's banner. Veterans of Sekigahara, who still hated Tokugawa, joined the garrison. By 1614, 50,000 samurai had gathered at Osaka Castle. They knew war was inevitable. Tokugawa would never allow Hideyori to live. The only question was when he would attack. In November 1614, Tokugawa Ieyasu mobilized his forces. 200,000 troops marched on Osaka. The winter campaign had begun. The defenders of Osaka were outnumbered 4-1, but the castle was nearly impregnable. Massive stone walls 20 meters high, deep moats surrounding multiple defensive rings, cannons mounted on towers, thousands of samurai and ashigaru foot soldiers manning the walls. Tokugawa's forces surrounded the castle and bombarded it with cannons. But the walls held. Weeks passed. Winter set in. The siege dragged on. Inside the castle, the defenders were confident. They had food, water, and ammunition. The castle had never fallen. They could wait out the siege. But Tokugawa was patient. He didn't need to storm the walls. He could starve them out. And he began negotiations. In January 1615, a truce was reached. Tokugawa promised to leave Hideyori alone if the outer moats were filled in. It seemed like a compromise. The defenders agreed. It was a trap. Once the outer moats were filled, Osaka Castle's defensive advantage vanished. The walls were still strong, but without the moats, Tokugawa's troops could approach much closer. By April 1615, Tokugawa had broken the truce. He demanded Hideyori leave Osaka and move to a smaller, weaker castle, or surrender and become a monk. Hideyori refused. His samurai refused. They would fight. The summer campaign began. This time, there would be no negotiations. Tokugawa intended to destroy Osaka Castle and everyone inside it. The defenders knew this was the end. They couldn't hold forever, but samurai honor demanded they fight to the death. One of the most famous defenders was Sanada Yukimura, a legendary warrior known as the Crimson Demon of War for his red armor. He commanded elite troops and had a reputation as one of the greatest samurai in Japan. Sanada knew the battle was hopeless, but he told his men, "We will make Tokugawa remember us. We will die with honor." On June 3, 1615, the final assault began. Tokugawa's forces attacked from all sides. Cannons fired, arquebuses cracked, samurai charged the walls. The defenders fought back with everything they had. Sanada Yukimura led a desperate counterattack, charging directly at Tokugawa's headquarters. His red-armored warriors cut through enemy lines like a blade. They reached within striking distance of Tokugawa himself before being pushed back. Sanada fought until he was exhausted. Surrounded, wounded, he finally fell. His last words were said to be, "I am Sanada Yukimura. Remember my name." The walls were breached. Tokugawa's troops poured into the castle. The defenders fell back, fighting room by room, hallway by hallway. There was no retreat, no escape, no surrender. Samurai fought until they were cut down. Those too wounded to fight performed seppuku, ritual suicide, rather than be captured. By evening, the outer defences had fallen. The main tower was surrounded. Inside, Toyotomi Hideyori and his mother Yodo Dono realized the end had come. They retreated to the castle's innermost chambers. Rather than face capture, they committed suicide. Hideyori was 23 years old. With their lord dead, the remaining defenders had no reason to continue. But they didn't surrender. They fought on, knowing they would die. By nightfall, the castle was in flames. Tokugawa's troops systematically killed every defender they found. Samurai families, wives, children chose to die rather than face dishonor. Mass suicides occurred throughout the castle. By the time the fires burned out, 50,000 samurai were dead. The Toyotomi clan was extinct. Osaka Castle was destroyed. Tokugawa Ieyasu had won. His victory was total. But the defenders of Osaka achieved something else. They proved that samurai honor was not just words. 50,000 warriors chose death over surrender. Not one betrayed his lord. Not one abandoned the castle. In samurai culture, this is the ultimate expression of Bushido, the way of the warrior. Loyalty unto death, honor above life. The Siege of Osaka marked the end of Japan's Warring States period. The age of constant civil war was over. Tokugawa rule would last for 250 years, until 1868. But the defenders of Osaka became legends. Sanada Yukimura became a folk hero, a symbol of loyalty and courage against impossible odds. 50,000 samurai, 0 surrenders, total annihilation. They knew they would die. They chose to fight anyway, because to a samurai, death with honor was better than life with shame. The day 50,000 samurai chose death over surrender. The last stand of the Toyotomi clan. The end of an era. And a reminder that some warriors would rather die than bend the knee. What other last stands should we cover? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more legendary battles where honor meant more than survival, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Because sometimes the greatest victories are the ones where defeat is chosen with dignity.